I often on my birthday reflect. I look back over the year and maybe a bit further along to see where I'm at. And I'd been getting this increasing feeling that I wasn't doing what I wanted to do anymore. As a child, I was very powerless towards everything that was going on. What I realized was that I couldn't directly influence situations, and it kind of didn't matter what I thought. It was about trying to help my mum in that occasion work out this mess that we were in. My father was very violent. It was a lot of domestic violence, a lot of physical abuse towards me as well, and my siblings. I always say around 8 was when I had a real strong awareness of the situation that we were in. And I would sit with my mum and we would work it out together. You know, I didn't know a lot of the stuff, but I would say to her, well, can you do this? Can you do that? What would it look like if you do this? And it's only when I laugh about it, even now, when I think about it, it's like I was blatantly coaching her as a kid. I learned to coach with my mum. My mum was my first client. I was working in the fitness industry, I've been in it a long time, and I liked it. But what I come to realize is very often people's physical appearance was a physical manifestation of how they were feeling. And I found myself having these conversations that had nothing to do with diet, nothing to do with exercise. So although I know that people had achieved the results they'd got, what had happened is, like, happy people exercise, happy people eat better, look after themselves better, they care about themselves more. And I think in that moment, when I did that course, it wasn't a literal everything came together at once, and it was just like this really obvious, I should do this, you know, definitely. They made me feel like I could do it. That was it. It wasn't just here's the qualification. Yes, I look forward to getting the certificate or that sort of stuff, but that's not really what was important to me. It was about feeling confident to do the job, actually feel like I can be a coach. It can feel like quite a lot of responsibility at times, but if you ever have a bad day and you're not sure whether you can do your job today, just fall back on your training and you'll be okay. You'll get through it, you know, and you'll be really helpful and effective. I've got dyslexia, so some of the stuff was a bit tricky for me at the beginning, and I take responsibility for my own dyslexia, and I know how I learn best and stuff, but there was a few things I could have done with at the beginning. I brought it up with someone in the office and it was sorted, so it's good. There is a lot of learning in the beginning of how to do things in a professional way, and it's up to you whether you charge. You can charge. I didn't, because I really wanted to learn, and as soon as you say free, everyone's keen. You know, but they got a lot of help, and I look at them free sessions as part of the investment. It's part of the investment into becoming a better coach. And actually what those people do in them free sessions that you're not sure about doing is they tell somebody else, and they tell somebody else, and they tell somebody else, and before you know it, you're known for helping people. And then people come along and they start paying you. So be ready with your prices, because that's what caught me out. I wasn't ready. Someone asked me how much it was, and I was like, I have a podcast called the Self-Development Podcast. I've spoken to many of the coaches from on the podcast, and they've been some wonderful conversations. We're trying to extract the lessons from the things that have happened. So if someone's experienced something significant in their life, it's about that sort of post-traumatic growth. When the time is right, what did you take from that? Trying to write a book, over time I've realized that when education meets experience, it can create wisdom. The education I'm getting formally from the Coaching Academy, but then there's my experiences, the things that I've been through, I've learned a lot from. So all of those things that I've had to come up against with domestic violence, with addiction myself, and all the failures that I used to think defined me, I realized, well, actually, wait a minute, that was just a really helpful lesson. Painful lesson, but helpful. You know, I often ask the universe why it needs to be quite so harsh, but, you know, but I think them ones are the ones that stick, right? I live an incredible life in Cornwall. I've got a lovely home, a lovely family. I love my work. And I created that myself with a lot of help, obviously, but I was brave, and, you know, I spent my first part of my life believing that I was a fearful, weak person because I spent my life scared. But then I realized something, that you can't be brave without first being scared or feeling fear. So now if something scares me, I get excited because I think, oh, I'm about to do something really cool, you know? So the way I see it is I'd love to have a book in the future. I feel like I have got some stuff I want to share. that can be helpful. I like to give out as much of myself as I can, but then, you learn really quickly that when you give your time to other people, it's being taken away from others, So now I have a little circle and my family's inside that circle and nothing gets in there.